that's not going to work. Nope, I think we're going to start is what we're going to do.
I think it's a great idea.
I think so too. Good evening, everyone. Call to order, Minneola City Council meeting. If we can please rise, moment of silence and pledge led by our Vice Mayor. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Agenda review. Everything look good, Mr. Yeager? Thank you. Ms. Flynn?
I was going to ask if we could move up council reports after public comments.
So public reports.
What's the reason? Just for curiosity.
Because I think there's going to be some public comments, and I think it would be a good opportunity for the council to give their report at that time.
Okay, so right after the proclamation you want?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, I was just informed that Representative Yarkowski is running about 10, 15 minutes late, so we can move him down after reports. I think that'll be good.
After reports? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Saunders, anything?
No.
Okay. So since we are going to move item 4 after the proclamation, I would like to start with the proclamation, if that's okay. Thank you. Proclamation civility. Whereas the open exchange of public discourse is essential to the democratic system of government and to the effective conduct of public meetings. And whereas civility is a cornerstone of democracy and reflects the respect, courtesy, and restraint expected in public dialogue among elected officials, staff, residents, and all who participate in local government. And whereas anger, rudeness, ridicule, impatience, disrespect, and personal attacks detract from the open exchange of ideas, hinder fair discussion of the issues before the city, and may discourage individuals from participating in local government. And whereas the city first adopted a civility proclamation in 2000 and now desires to reaffirm its ongoing expectation that civic engagement be conducted with dignity, patience, and mutual respect. Now therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the city of Minneola, Florida, that the city hereby affirms its commitment to civility and calls upon all elected officials, staff, residents, and participants in public meetings to engage with one another respectfully, constructively, and in a manner that supports open and meaningful public discourse. Passed and adopted this 4th day of August, 2026.
Mayor, may I add a couple words to that?
That'll be fine. I wasn't done, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Please.
So, well, what you did was great, and thank you for that. I think it's absolutely needed for what happened last council meeting. I believe that further action needs to be taken because of that. Therefore, I would like to ask the council if we would consider.
Well, before you move.
Yes, go ahead.
Before you move forward, I do have some more information here to share with council, with everyone else. While I pass this out, if you would like to continue what you were saying, and I apologize for interrupting you.
No, not a problem. As I was saying, I would like to bring on to the table a formal censorship of Councilman David Yeager and Joe Saunders for the actions that were taken during the last council meeting.
And actually, for the record, please pass that down further. For the record, and also for transparency, I am actually passing that out at this moment. So if we could move forward with that, and if the attorney could please read 2026-13, and then I'll pass 2026-14 as well. Thank you.
Yes, Mayor. 2026-13 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, censuring Council Member David Yeager for conduct during a public meeting, affirming the City Council's expectation of civility, decorum, and mutual respect during council proceedings, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And Resolution 2026-14 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, censuring Council Member Joseph Saunders for conduct during a public meeting, affirming the City Council's expectation of civility, decorum, and mutual respect during council proceedings, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Now, both of these items I am presenting this evening, and I am presenting them to make sure that they are public record. And if anybody does want to see them, please get in touch with Christine. But in here, it does state that we, as a council, will be holding the matter of this meeting held on August 17th to proceed with that voting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Anything else before we move forward?
From council or from the public?
No, from council. We can start with council first.
So even though this was done, and I, like I said, I do appreciate you and I thinking along the same lines, unfortunately, I think further actions needs to be done with respect to Mr. Yeager. Mr. Yeager, when you first asked to be appointed for council, we all had the same idea in mind. We wanted what's best for the city. We wanted what was best for Minneola. And unfortunately, the actions that were shown in the last council meeting were unbecoming of a councilman. It was unprofessional and frankly embarrassing for myself. We trusted you with this act, and furthermore, we need to hold, all of us need to be held up to a higher standard, even more those that are appointed, because we take away the ability for the public to vote for that position. And they put that trust in us to make the right decision. And unfortunately, your actions spoke otherwise. Therefore, I ask the rest of council to join me in asking you formally to step down.
How do you want to handle that?
What actions do you need from his statement?
I just need someone to make a vote.
Well,
I think I'm sorry, I interpreted it as a request.
it's a request,
Okay.
because I think by law, we are
My
not,
apologies.
we cannot vote someone out. And for the public's knowledge,
Thank you.
according to our city charter, the council does not have the ability to vote someone out, even those that were appointed in. Unfortunately, it is what it is. That's something that we could look for in the future as a council, to what we can do to fix that. All we can do in an unfortunate situation like this is ask whoever the person is to ask if they would like to step down. That's why I asked the rest of council to join me in asking David Yeager to step down. So unfortunately, Councilwoman Flynn, there's no action. It was just a request for David Yeager to step down.
Would you like to add to that?
Sure. According to Minneola Charter 3.5A-B, it states that a council office becomes vacant upon resignation, removal, authorized by law, or forfeiture of office. But most importantly, a council member forfeits the office if he or she lacks at any time during his or her term any qualification for office prescribed by the Charter of Law. The Charter also says that all candidates seeking election, or in this case appointed, residents of the city of Minneola, and those who move out of the city limits during their term of office shall immediately surrender their seat. I'm asking for support of Mayor Pam Service and Vice Mayor Eric Hernandez, which you've already stated, and asking and requesting Dave Yeager step down as an appointed council member in hopes to restore civility, transparency, and trust with not only our residents, our county residents, and those who might choose to live here. The question is, was he legally a resident or elector of Minneola when he was appointed to the council? Owning a property in a municipality does not automatically make someone a resident of that municipality. There was a discrepancy between the address represented to the council and the address where this individual was actually residing. I support Vice Mayor Hernandez in asking for this request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, any questions? Comments regarding Mr. Hernandez's request?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
I have no comment.
Okay, thank you. With that said, I concur. I'm not going to go further into this. I think what I have presented speaks enough, and I want to respect everyone's time here. So with that said, the question is out on the table. And Mr. Yeager, would you like to step down from your?
I would like to see the vice mayor and the mayor and Debbie Flynn step down. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that request. We're going to move forward with the meeting. Anybody else have anything else to say? And thank you, Debbie. No? So I guess that will be,
Mayor, if I could get a motion on bringing the resolutions forward to the next meeting, that would be helpful.
So moved.
I have a first. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-2. Thank you. All right. Is Mr. Representative Taylor Yakowski here? No?
No, we're going to do reports next.
Yes, thank you. Reports?
Public comments?
Oh, yes, thank you. A little bit all out of whack here.
I know.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience have any comments, questions, anything other than what's on the agenda?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. I have 3 quick items. Lake County Commissioners are having a workshop tomorrow on data centers and mosques at 9 a.m. in the Commissioner Chambers. Anyone that might be interested, it's open to the public. Second thing, again, our Lake County Commissioners are holding public budget hearings on September 8th and September 22nd at 5:05 p.m., an odd time, at the various Lake County location, 315 Main Street, where they always hold their meetings. The good news is they're holding the 2026 millage rate at 5.0254 mils. So it's not going higher. It could go lower. Hopefully, some of our commissioners will vote to move that down. Their total budget is $959.23 million, with a $7.7 million for road resurfacing. They didn't get that in last year. It's supposed to be in this year. Just FYI, for every tax dollar, 26 cents goes to county departments and offices, and 63 cents go to our constitutional officers, but 50% of that is for our wonderful sheriff road patrol, so that's good news. We could reduce some of the other constitutional officers. And 11 cents go to other administrative things. The third item I had is directed to Vice Mayor Hernandez. Do we have a rescheduled date for the Hills of Minneola Park Workshop?
Yeah, we're going to discuss that during reports. Unfortunately, I was sick with RSV a couple weeks ago, so we'll
That's
discuss
fine.
that during reports.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Shauna Vaughn, and my address is confidential. Before I get into what I have written here, I wanted to point out to the citizens of Minneola to observe, the body language of Mr. Yeager that we have observed just this evening. Setting aside what happened at the last meeting when this gentleman was being spoken to and about, he couldn't even look at his colleagues and put a piece of paper in front of his face. When he was asked to respond, he was childish at best. I would ask the city of Minneola that when you vote, you consider what this appointed leader, his behavior is like. With that said, I am observing this behavior as someone who has 20-plus years of experience in human performance consulting and leadership development. And I might need just like a few seconds more. What this means is that I make a living helping leaders learn to communicate more effectively and how to navigate difficult conversations well. I manage stakeholders. I deal with C-suite executives on a regular basis, executive level. I wanted to take a few minutes tonight to talk about leadership, especially in light of the proclamation, ironically, that you all put in effect tonight, being civility. Serving on this council is a leadership role, whether or not the people holding these seats think of it that way. Every member here was elected to represent residents, to make decisions that affect this community, and to conduct themselves in a way that reflects the office. That is different from running a business or managing a staff, Mr. Yeager. It comes with public trust, and residents are entitled to expect a certain standard of conduct in exchange for it. Good leadership isn't complicated, and even when it's hard to practice it consistently. It disagrees without demeaning. It holds people accountable without humiliating them, and it makes room for colleagues' voices, especially when that colleague sees things differently. It's basic human respect. And when tempers run high, which happens in most groups that are making real consequential decisions, as councils do, good leadership shows up most clearly in how a person handles that moment, not just how they handle the easy moments, because those are easy. The position of mayor matters too. And Madam Mayor, I have complimented you on your masterful demonstration of parliamentary procedure. You do it very beautifully, as most councils around here need some work on that, so good job. Part of leading a meeting well is being willing to step in when something crosses a line, or someone crosses a line, in the moment and not after the fact. I do acknowledge that you did address things after the fact at the last meeting. And that's not about silencing disagreement, because addressing disagreement and putting a stop to things in a place where parliamentary procedure is necessary is not about silencing people. It's about creating boundaries and a safe space for parliamentary procedure to proceed. I raise all of this because I think most people in this room, both in leadership and in constituency, already know what leadership looks like. And tonight, this council is affirming it publicly in the proclamation on civility, ironically enough. In a way, that proclamation needs to be read, the fact that the proclamation needs to be read is kind of strange at all, isn't it? That we need to declare civility. That's kind of ridiculous, frankly. Basic respect shouldn't require a formal reaffirmation or a proclamation in a public setting. But since it's being made tonight, I don't think anyone here would argue with that being a standard. What I'd ask is that it be held to consistently in this room, not just when it's easy, but when it's difficult and when disagreement is happening. He can't even look at me now. Look at this. That might mean putting in place or leaning back on a clear and consistently enforced standard for how members of this council speak to one another. I don't know if you have a code of conduct. I did look for it online and couldn't find anything. But maybe you should. And it should be that the chair is supported in enforcing parliamentary procedure in real time as well. So you should feel supported, Madam Mayor. Council members model something for this community, whether they mean it or not. People notice how this body treats each other. and they draw conclusions about what's normal here. You get to decide what normal looks like going forward in Minneola City Council. I'd like those conclusions to be good ones. I thank you for taking the effort to do the censorships and to suggest that Mr. Yeager step down, and I guess Mr. Saunders as well. I was most appalled by Mr. Yeager's behavior. Thank you so much for hearing me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just for the record, I appreciate that, Shauna. But again, I do want to implement the 3-minute timing that we have here. And if we can stick with that, I'd greatly appreciate it from here on out. And thank you.
Chris Perkins, 21103 County Road 455. Let's rip the scab off. That was an appalling display of city governance that we witnessed on the 21st of July. And if either man had any integrity at all, they would resign. But we don't expect to see that tonight. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Cherie Kennel, 21145 County Road 455.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to start and say thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I had something prepared here, and you kind of blew it away. I want to say thank you for the measures that you've taken and for the ask of Mr. Yeager to resign. It's a tough job that the 5 of you have. I want to also acknowledge that. These are consequential decisions that you all face. They have a lasting lifestyle impact, landscape impact, and it takes 3-dimensional critical thinking. And when your constituents, residents of the city or the county, come before you, there is no room for contempt. And I did find something in your own code of ethics, which you maybe not necessary because you've taken the measures you have tonight, but it was on your city council relations policy and code of ethics, page 18. This relates to both Mr. Yeager and I think Mr. Sanders, and I just want to enter it in. No member of the public or council member shall be permitted to indulge in personalities, use language personally offensive, question motives of other members, or use language tending to hold another council member or the public up to contempt. And that's what I felt when I came up here and spoke on the 21st. Total contempt from Mr. Sanders. And not only was it unprofessional, and I want to also point to Mr. Yeager, his behavior completely unprofessional, but borderline juvenile. The personal attacks to Councilor Flynn on drinking and previous meetings of she has no moral compass, there is no room for this. This is a serious job for serious people. And I will agree with one thing that Mr. Sanders said, and I believe it was in a June 2nd meeting, and these are his exact words. We have a responsibility to be courteous to people, listen to the people, and do our best for the city and our neighbors in the county. And to that, I could not agree more. But what we witnessed was not, if that was your best, then 17 years is enough for you, Mr. Sanders. You do need to step down. And Mr. Yeager, you shouldn't have been in this chair to begin with. Thank you so much for all you guys have just done tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Jennifer Morse, 1064 Golden Dawn Loop. I'm shifting focus. I just had a question about Education Avenue. I noticed that you're putting streetlights on that side of the street. I don't know which side
North
that
side.
is. North,
Yeah.
north side of the street.
Closer to the neighborhood, correct?
Not my neighborhood, the other side,
Oh, so that's south.
That's,
south side, okay.
Yes.
So I would love it if we would consider putting a sidewalk there, since we have 2 schools on that side of the street, and we do see walkers just on that grass before we spend all the money putting a bunch of streetlights, and then we're gonna have to go back and put sidewalks. So I didn't know if we could consider that before we put a bunch of streetlights right where the sidewalks should be going.
And I don't want to speak for Mark. I think since we didn't propose that because I believe we're going to be widening that road to do a turn lane. So I think that would have taken up space for the turn lane. I don't, again, just to confirm.
Yeah, Fred's here, he can speak on Education Avenue, but we did account for when the streetlights were going in, we accounted for the road design plans to make sure they're not in the way, at least that was the intent. So hopefully that, engineering-wise worked out the way it was supposed to.
Now, that being said, to your point, Jennifer, I think after the street is widened, then we could review and see if it's viable to put in a sidewalk afterwards.
They're up like by Hancock, not down by Minneola Charter. So across from the MAC.
So for that,
And they look
okay, so,
very
okay. So
close.
you're saying the corner of Education and Hancock, where
Yeah.
the triangle parcel, if,
Yeah. And they
Okay.
look very close to the road. So I was hoping maybe to catch it and maybe, because maybe no one thought about it, or if I can advocate for us to
I
halt
gotcha.
and
Pine
maybe
Bluff.
put sidewalks before we put streetlights.
okay.
There.
I thought you were referring to further
Yes, yeah.
west, but you're
Yeah,
talking further, yeah. Okay,
The
yeah.
other, no streetlights down east?
Towards Hancock, east, correct, yeah.
Towards 27.
So what I can do, Jennifer, is I can meet with Mark out there. We'll take a look at it, and then if I have any questions, can I give you a call?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
I think
Thank
that's what
you.
we can do. Thank you.
And Ms. Mayor, we can talk about it during the project updates as well, just
Perfect.
put notes on that.
Okay.
My name's Tom Moore, 21135 County Road 455.
Good evening.
Good evening. Kind of feels like we're beating a dead horse. I'm personally feel like what you guys just did is just going through the motions. It doesn't accomplish anything. And until something really changes, I feel like your credibility is zero at this point. And I'm glad I don't live in the city. I'm one of those county people that you guys talk about. And I just think you guys need to really reevaluate the way you run your city. It's horrible. And I personally think the state should investigate all of you for ethics violations. The way this whole thing was handled, Mr. Yeager spoke on his own motion at zoning meetings. It's terrible. And I just think what you guys did means nothing. And unfortunately, there's nothing can be done about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it doesn't mean nothing. I know for myself, I did a lot of phone calls with the city attorney, looking into this, seeing what can be done, what cannot be done. I appreciate your opinion, but I myself, I take this very seriously, and the only thing that we can do, because legally we can't have him removed, is we ask. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Okay, closing public comments, and we'll have another opportunity at the end of this meeting. Moving right along, if we can start with item 1.
That's-
Yarkowski.
Yes.
Yes, item 1, Representative
Item one,
Taylor.
you're right. I'm sorry, Mayor. Sorry.
Item 1, Representative Taylor Yarkowski.
I was looking at.
I know, no.
Mayor, and while the representative is walking up, I would just wanted to remind council, because this discussion is about a ballot measure and you all will be voting as individuals, I ask you to ask informational questions and get your answers to questions about the city and not turn it into any advocacy one way or the other. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Madam Mayor. Nice to see you.
Great seeing you.
Thanks, Council and Mark, for having me here. I appreciate it. You know, I got to speak a couple weeks ago at City of Groveland, and you know, it was, and I've been out doing a lot of work the last few months, and it's been refreshing a little bit to see the way this topic has been received. It's also been, I mean, I've heard unique questions I didn't hear leading up to those encounters. So And that, in regards to the property insurance, or I'm sorry, the property tax House Joint Resolution that we passed this session. And, you know, that was so I'm going to talk about that for a minute. And then, of course, if you have any questions, that's fine. But I want to just, if anything, maybe ease some concerns and some minds here about this, because there's been a lot of, there's been a lot of comments on it, a lot of propaganda, and we have really been in the trenches looking at this. And going back to, before session, Speaker Danny Perez put together a task force on this. They met through the summer between session and did a lot of work on that. One of our members of the delegation, Representative Gentry, who has a little bit of North Lake County and quite a bit of Marion, Volusia as well, I believe. He was on that team that studied that. And so we've spent a bunch of time now looking at this. I got the great honor to sit on the Ways and Means Committee during this legislative term. And it was a very unique experience. And part of, obviously we did a tremendous amount of work with this issue. And what I said very openly, and I asked the chairman if I could speak at the end, and sort of everyone had all these comments, and it was, some of them I think were valid, a lot of them I think were fear. And I stood up there and I said, folks, there's one thing that not one of us up here on this committee would say right now, or that none of us would say right now. I don't care if it's my Democrat colleagues or us Republicans. And that is that, boy, the voters sure got it wrong in my race. No, the voters got it right. That's why we're all sitting here. And the voters are also going to get this this issue correct as well. And it's really unique as a lawmaker to get the opportunity to put something on a ballot for the people that I believe is proper to be on a ballot, not circumventing the lawmaking process to go to the ballot, because they know they can't get it done in the legislature. This is one where the people need to tell us, what do you want? Do you want us to do this or do you not want to do this? I commend the governor for his leadership on this, but I also can tell you this, that Speaker Danny Perez drove this in a big, big way. The Senate didn't want to really deal with this, didn't deal with it in session. We passed a lot of things on this. And of course, the governor has been very outspoken and drove this. The speaker and the governor didn't agree on a lot this session, but I can tell you this: they agreed on this, and they did agree on quite a few things. But this was refreshing to see that everyone was excited to give this to the voters. Look, there's a lot of concern on all sides of this. I hear convincing argument and discussions, but at the end of the day, I also can tell you, because I sat on under Speaker Paul Renner and this speaker, I've had the great honor of sitting on the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, which is a committee comprised of 7 or 8 senators and the same 7 or 8 representatives, and we look at bad actors in communities. Anybody that's getting state money, we're looking at, and members can bring those to us and say, hey, I have a town that's doing whatever, and I need it to be looked at. We can send out the Auditor General, Inspector General, et cetera. And we've looked at a lot of craziness. 2 years ago, Claremont had issues going on, and they were on our list. 3 years, no audits. I put out a statement about that was unacceptable, and there was a lot of problems over there. Well, let me just tell you, in 2 years, you know what happened? They turned that entire thing around. They have reserves now. Everything is compliant, and they basically did what any town's going to have to do if and when this passes. They just did it. And you know how they did it? The voters elected the proper people, the proper leadership got in there, they made changes, and they made it happen. So at the end of the day, it's all about leadership, and I say that all the time. If we do not work together, this is never going to be, it's never easy, but it's about being responsible and taking action and running this government the way I run my business. And I can tell you the majority of the things is not what I would do if it was my business. And a matter of fact, a lot of it's the opposite. So we need to stop acting certain ways, in my opinion, and we need to sharpen our pencils and realize that people need that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in their pocket, not us building more splash pads or whatever else we want to build at local government level. I agree that we need Parks and Rec, we need all these things. But people also need to pay their bills. People also need to know that their government is lean and it's accountable and it's minimized and not involved in their life as little as possible unless it's necessary. So I just think that what we have here is a great opportunity, and I want to illustrate a point. And I commend Dr. Cornegay, we're going to really miss her at the school board. She's retiring Superintendent of the Year, Diane Cornegay, and my friend. And I watched her the other day on a panel with Orange County Superintendent, the Seminole County Superintendent, and Osceola, and I got to sit in this round table and listen. And do you know the way they approached when we did Step Up for Students? Again, we took a free market principle and we stuck it right into the schools. And we said, you know what, schools? In the same way that charter schools, private schools, homeschool, we all have to, businessmen, and we have to provide a product and a service that has merit or people aren't going to buy it. But government, for some reason, doesn't have to follow those rules because we're the government. Well, no, we went and changed that. And do you know what the government's doing now? They have convened studies. They've got marketing teams. They are making their product better. They're looking at, why did we lose them? Okay, what do we need to do to get them back? How can we get rid of this extra land that we don't need to hold anymore so that we can get some more revenue back in? And by the way, that's tax revenue now going back into and same thing, government owns a lot of land. Government needs to stop owning so much land and get the tax base going again. And so there's a lot of reasons why. But what Superintendent Cornegay said was, we started looking at how do we become better and how do we go get it back, because free market principles drive it back to us, because people go, wow, that's a better product now. And so they have changed their entire thinking, and I commend them. That's the school boards. And they've changed it, and you know what? Orange County, of all of them, are bringing all these people back on the merit of their product now, because they got to work and fixed it, because they knew it's not going to work this way anymore. So I would just say that change your thoughts, change your life. It's a very famous book. I think we all have to start thinking that way. And at some point, this has to stop. We cannot have $30 billion in ad valorem taxes 7 years ago in this state in 2019, and this year we're going to bring in upwards of $60 billion. You can't tell me that ad valorem taxes need to double in that amount in 7 years. So I just think everyone needs to look at this. And again, I've gotten, as I've voted to bring this to the ballot, I've become a little bit more focused on the merit of the policy and what I do actually think will work and won't work. And I'm seeing example after example. And I think the towns that are going to have trouble are towns that are already in trouble right now, and this is the straw that's finally going to have to bring state in and different things. What I can tell you about this town of Minneola, and I've spent some time talking with Mark and I spent a lot of time working together. And Mark, you're a good man and you're very focused, and I commend you. And my staff, we all love working with you. I mean, and by the way, I have Amanda here and Avery. And Amanda, a lot of you know Amanda. She's the anchor of this whole operation at my office, and I know that she, loves working with you. You're one of the people. So I commend you guys and thank you. But I can tell you this town is probably the best of all of them in Lake County in terms of lean, mean, got their ducks in order. And that, you know why that is? From great leadership for a lot of years. Decisions were made way back. I know, kind of learned the story a little bit. It's way before my time. But, everyone's had to go through their failures to get to their greatness, and everyone's kind of living at some point of that now. So I think that you guys are in a really great place. I don't think that, you've made very smart business decisions in this town. So I commend this council in that regard. And by the way, I say it all the time to my friends that are out here, bringing great things like the Crooked Can. And I say, this is literally the most precious canvas in Lake County, in my opinion, this Minneola. You just have such a unique opportunity from the way it touches all these different areas. And I think you guys are doing a really good job of managing that properly, to where a measure like this perhaps don't really even give you a stutter step. Just kind of you keep on moving. So I think you kind of, you're going to hear a lot of things about this. What I would tell the voters or the residents here is, it might be true to some towns that you're going to hear on the news out of Orlando or wherever. But the town that you live in is solid, and the county's solid. I mean, we all work together very well. I commend my commissioner friends, you all here at the local level, certainly our sheriff. You guys are a product of the greatest sheriff in the state. I mean, you know, look at what you're doing. You're the safest town in the state, literally, and you don't have a police department. You know, and I'm not saying that's the right thing for everyone, certainly, but I'm just saying decisions can be made and things can be done properly, and no one needs to miss a beat. But you're going to hear a lot of things. I think that we're in a really great place here in Lake County. It's a great opportunity. I echo my colleague and friend Diane Cornegay that we need to change our thinking. And look, that's what we're here to do. They elected us because we brought a vision. We brought, some promises and things that we want to go get done. Man, wouldn't it be cool if part of our legacy as colleagues here and leaders is we were part of that team that not only brought it to the ballot, and if it passes, look at what we did together to make this even better and to allow our community to thrive more because they have more money in their pocket now. And they don't have to rent their house from the government anymore. It's a big deal. And, and listen, this happened in California many years ago. You know, people don't want to talk about it, but it can be done, it will be done, and it takes 60% for this to pass. So just so you all know, it's not a 50% plus one item on the ballot. It has to be 60%, and that's a heavy burden, but I think it's proper. I even voted during my first term to raise that to 67%. I believe it should be more. But that being, because I just think our Constitution is almost perfect, and we shouldn't mess with it unless it's like such a high level. So that being said, I can tell you the other concerns that I hear are police and fire, schools. You know, schools weren't even in the first draft, and you know, my speaker and others worked hard to make sure that was in there. But we enumerated 7 items, and here's something that I think is really cool. This is a testament to the next leadership teams coming into the House and the Senate, and that is that it's no secret, certainly those of you in government, that you know the home rule stuff between the state and the local gets crazy sometimes, and everyone feels like we're constantly just passing laws and telling you what you can and can't do. And I would tell you that you know, I don't disagree with that. I never served in local government, so I don't understand this vengeance that some of my colleagues have, but then you start realizing they served here and they served here. So I feel like we spend a lot of time back and forth on that. Again, I think, you know, the same voters that elected me, some of them elected you, and commissioners in this county get elected by more people than elect me at the state level. So, you know, we have to remember that, again, the will of the people. And we have levels of government for a reason, and my job is not to tell you all or the county how to do anything. My job is to make sure that if you need resources to carry out the vision that they elected you for, I'm here to help you. What do you need? Let's get to work. You need DOT? I mean, look, we've done a lot already. I mean, we do it all the time, you know, and I love that. It's one of the things I love about my job here is I get to bring people together and solve problems. I have 4 daughters and a wife, always solving problems. I have 5 sisters, so we solve problems all the time, no. But that being said, I think that, so when we did this bill, we enumerated 7 items that had to be prioritized, but we didn't tell you in what order you have to do that, right? Public safety has to be a priority. Certain infrastructure things, schools, there's things that have to be prioritized, but we didn't say how you have to do it because every town's a little bit different. So I think that's important that the local government has the latitude to prioritize that as you guys see fit. And look, the voters are going to hold everyone accountable at the end of the day anyway. So, you know, at least that's normally the way it works out. And then the other part I will tell you with any concerns, because it's one thing to talk about this ideologically or in concept, if you will. It's another thing to discuss, okay, well, how does this actually get executed logistically in the granular molecular level? And what I'll tell you is, right now, we're just going to wait in November and see what we all say as voters at the ballot. And if more than 60% say yes, they want to do this, then the real work we have to get started on. So now we know the numbers, we have the formulas, we have the policy. Now we'll do what's called implementing bills. Excuse me, and that'll be under the next speaker, next Senate President, which will take effect in somewhere in mid-November. They'll both be sworn in. And by the way, in January, we're swearing in a new governor for the first time in 8 years. So massive change in all forces are coming at one time in Tallahassee. And so this is a very, very important point, is that, you know, who we elect and how we move forward here is going to determine a lot of how this gets done if the voters want it done. And that means we're going to go do implementing bills, and we're going to lay out how we're going to do certain things. So there's going to be a lot of time to fix things, and, oh, we didn't think of this, or how, you know, we need to change that, or we need to ensure this. So we're already looking at all that stuff. And then I would submit that by the next session in 2028, there'll be a cleanup bill on this to come back and say, okay, we didn't think of this. I mean, so this is going to be very spoon-fed along. And I can tell you, some of the smartest people in the world work in the House and the Senate, staff that are analyzing and looking at this from every level, including the governor's office. And it's been quite an honor to work with people that think on that capacity. But they're already putting all this together, and we will be prepared. And listen, our job is to get it right, not to be right. As political leaders, my job is never to be right. I believe my job is to know what we're not going to do, and know who to get in the room, and let the Holy Spirit go to work, and we figure out what we are going to do, right? And I think this is kind of where we are, you know? And I just love it that the voters get the chance to weigh in on this, and we're going to see, you know, where we go from there. Do you have any questions about the property tax, any of you, before I want one other thing I wanted to touch
Anyone?
on?
Bring it back to council. Questions? Comments, concerns?
Well, the other thing I want, thank you again, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to speak. The other thing I wanted to just leave you with, a couple of big things that were done this last session, or last term. Many of you know, and were here, right here, when we designated Bradley Link Memorial Highway through here. I got the great honor of running that legislation, working with the chairman of the judiciary, as well as the governor and everyone on this, and it was just a really cool thing to be able to carry that mission, and the amount of respect that, you know, that we got through that was humbling. Got to spend time. I get choked up a little bit because it was a powerful moment for me as a lawmaker. But what was even more exciting was getting to have Mr. Gargano come up and his mother, and get to take him to meet the governor and take a photo. We got to honor him on the House floor. And I will tell you, the whole floor stood, and for probably a minute and a half, it was nonstop applause and yelling. And I mean, he said, "I've never felt anything like this in my life." And I said, well, welcome to the world of getting to walk into the Florida House every day. It's the greatest honor of my life. And you can't really explain it to someone. And then when you get honored like that in the story and what he went through. So I was grateful to do that. And I know the sheriff, it was really important to the sheriff and to his widow, Brittany, and all that family. So thank you to Minneola. You were such an awesome host to that. And of course, a partner in making sure that we signed all this off together, and Mark and the former mayor. So thank you. The other thing I just wanted to make the point is I believe that we currently, in everything we're doing, but in certain areas more so, is major battles of good versus evil, epic battles of good versus evil right now. And I think that the most demonic stuff that's happening is the constant attack on our children in every category. I've worked since day one. After our first special session on property tax or property insurance back in 2022, I get a call from then Attorney General Ashley Moody. I'm a freshman. She says, "Hey, I'd like to meet with you about an issue that it's really important." And a certain person said, "You should talk to Yarkowski. This might be right up his alley." So I go in and she explains this thing to me, and we go to work, and it's in the area of sex crimes against children. And I worked with Senator Danny Burgess. We got it done. The governor passed it. And I immediately realized why God put me here, and it's that we have to fight this evil every chance we get, every session. The most important thing we will ever do as government, always first and foremost, must be public safety, and specifically the enforcement of law and order, because we've seen around this country what happens when we do not enforce law and order. We're not raising families, we're not building companies, and we're not worshiping freely. That is vital, and that's the number one thing. But within that, what are we doing to protect our children, the disabled, and the elderly people? Because that's what they're coming for. And we, fortunately, we live in the 352 area code, and the most pirated area by all these scammers from everywhere is the Villages in Lake County because of the 352 and the retirement committee. So our state attorney, Bill Gladson, and I have been working to getting more funding, more investigators, more lawyers to attack this. But the children, it's craziness. And so for 4 sessions, I'm honored to say this last session, we passed another very consequential bill. We passed the bill 3 years ago. We were the first state in the nation to pass the anti-grooming statute. The governor and I worked very hard. Representative Bankson over in Apopka, Pastor Bankson. And so now if you groom our children, I said 93% certainty, we know based on the grooming patterns and what's coming next. Why are we waiting until this child is violated when we know what's going to happen? Let's get them now. We aren't going to wait for you to have the heart attack when we know your arteries are 99% blocked. We're taking you in. We're not going to say, well, as soon as you have the heart attack, we're going to get them. No. So we passed it. And we passed capital punishment for someone that rapes a child under 12, and our state attorneys brought 2 people to charges for that in grand juries. And all that's happened in the last 4 years. And we have the bookends now. You groom our children, you do the other, the unthinkable. And it's truly the devil in human form. So I've made it my mission every session. We will pass those bills. We will pass military bills. I've done that every session as well. And so just wanted to let you know that it's not just about the cities and the counties and some of the business stuff. I think the most important work that I will do will be not in any of those worlds. It'll be in this over here, and making sure that our law enforcement and our fire rescue has the tools and the training, the mental health attention that they need. It's just crazy what they're battling every day. And so when I say thank you to your first responders, they truly endure a lot. And Madam Mayor, as the spouse of a longtime officer. So anyway, it's the greatest honor, like I said, to do this for you all and to serve. And I didn't see this coming in my life, but I certainly have purpose, and we're not going to let you down up here. So thank you. And if you need anything, I'm always available, as you know. Thank you, Mark, for everything.
Thank you so much.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Would you like to open up for public?
Yes, I wanted to see if before he walks away, if anybody else on council has anything else to say, then I can open it up to the public. Anyone on council? No? Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you.
Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. I just have a few questions about the handout that our representative handed out to us. I was curious why it says individuals must be residents for 5 years before receiving the benefit. I think it should be 10 years. Did he leave already?
That starts at the effective date. So if anyone that has a home here now.
If you want to come on up, I'm sorry. Sorry, Representative Yurkowski. It's just so that we can get you.
So the answer is, first of all, that the specific answer to that question is that that's just the way the policy was written. We said you had to come here, buy your home, and live for 5 years in order to then get the homestead exemption. But if you own a home here currently, or you buy it before January 1, the effective date of 2027, then you would be grandfathered in. So there's folks that, like where I'm from in Iowa, they still live in Iowa, but they have a house in Florida. If they change their homestead before January 1, then they can get that exemption.
I understand that, but I'm saying, I think to avoid everyone influxing in, it should be 10 years, not 5 years.
Well,
So
you
that's
only have
something
to go convince a
So we
Senate,
need-
a House, and a governor of that.
So we
and
need to
then-
go back to redo the bill, that's what I'm saying. And then
She could
why
do
aren't
it.
we helping protect renters? I understand small businesses, but why did we cap 5% and state that it's helping protect renters? It doesn't really protect renters
Yeah,
at all.
it kind of does, because
In
what
what
you
way?
don't want to do is allow them to go, raise taxes on on second and third, like investment properties, because then what happens is now this person could go, just offset. They could say, okay, well, now instead we're losing X amount over here, let's just raise all these by 12%, and we just offset, and no one has to change. And now the commercial businesses, the investors or the landlords that own properties, they go jack everything up and everyone pays, and now it doesn't work. So the whole point is, you got to go clean up your ways of doing business, not go reappropriate that tax somewhere else. And we're going to cap what you can do to businesses, because that's the lifeline of our economies. And I also can tell you that a lot of these rentals and different apartments, or not just apartments or condos, but actual homes, there's a business component to some of that. Now, we've passed laws to stop the Black Rocks and all them of coming in and crushing it. That's not acceptable. So there's a fine line here, but I believe that is prudent, because, and look, we can always come back and change that legislatively, but we have to start somewhere, and we believe that was reasonable.
Fair enough. And then the last
Thank
thing
you.
is, if I were the council, I would take offense, especially here in Minneola, that it's time to rein in out-of-pocket local government spending. I think it's Tallahassee we have to stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all about leadership. I'll take it on my back then, fine. No, we all have to. And that's why the speaker said, when he went after sales tax, I said, well, how does that help the quality of life of my people in Lake County? I'm just asking because I'm like, I look at everything and say, honestly, we don't pay income tax here. We're now doing all these other things in Lake, Florida runs this thing so lean. I said, the transient, consumptive use type stuff like sales tax, maybe that's where we should be getting some of this revenue, not from our property owners, right? And the speaker said very wisely, he said, Taylor, it's not about that. It is about that, but it's also about shutting off the unlimited spigots of money that pour into the state and pour in everywhere. They need to stop being able to just spend away mistakes. We have to start, and that's the one thing the speaker has done, is he focused on the fiduciary health of this state and all the decisions and accountability, and I commend him tremendously for that. But that's what we did. I mean, we not only took away money out of sales tax, we did it in 2 sessions. We did sales tax and property tax. Well, you're going to tell us in November on property tax. But those are big deals that make government have to, sharpen their pens, which I know you appreciate, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Okay. Moving right along. Thank you very much, sir. We'll start going now to project updates. Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you, Mayor. So the first item is the Grassy Lake Road striping and winding. Our main man, Fred.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, so good news with Grassy Lake Education Avenue. We finally satisfied the grant coordinators for the grant funding, and we're waiting. We just got the email yesterday afternoon, so we're waiting on the notice to proceed. So contractors are ready. As soon as we get the notice to proceed, we'll start construction.
Do we know when we should receive that notice to proceed? Is it
Any day now.
imminent? Okay.
Right.
And then once we get that notice to proceed, we can start right away?
Yes.
Now, how are we going to address, because we are coming up, of course, very close to the beginning of school.
Right.
So the question is, do we want to wait? And I know, Jennifer, you're a huge voice in that neighborhood. What's the feeling in your neighborhood? Do we want to wait until after school so people get in the rhythm of it, or do we want to start right away? Jennifer, sorry, it's a question for you. Just your thoughts. Yeah. No, if you can come up, not yell.
So I don't want to be the person to answer that for the residents. I homeschool, so I do not know what it's like to deal with the traffic in the morning. I would suggest, I still haven't seen a plan. I don't know what the scope of the work is, how long it's going to be. My suggestion is to maybe present that, and I can always poll or, ask my mom's group would definitely provide some information on how they think it should go, because I think the moms would have the most knowledge on how crazy it's going to be. But my concern, if it were me, to get them in a routine immediately and then upheld that routine with a bunch of construction, might not be the best idea, but that's my opinion.
Okay, so maybe what we can do, Mark, is once we are ready to proceed, Fred, if we want to put something out on Facebook and our social media and just get public awareness and get their feedback on when they think we should start, whether it's right away or do we want to wait a month or so people get the rhythm, and then we can start.
Sure, and we did not anticipate the setbacks with the permitting and other approvals by other agencies. So last year, they shifted the traffic around a holiday. They shifted the traffic until the end of the school year to accommodate the construction, and I understand they're going to start the school year with that same traffic plan. We've also talked with a contractor about doing as much night work as possible. Is that still the case, Fred? To try to minimize any impact during the daytime.
Okay, so I think if we start with that traffic pattern, I don't think it'll be an issue because they'll be used to it already.
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Just consider the walkers too. I don't know how, I haven't seen the plan, so I don't know how that is going to impact the walkers for
Yeah.
both schools.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Fred or Mark, do we have a conceptual site plan of what it's going to look like after construction so we can put it out there as well?
We have construction drawings. I don't know that we have a site plan, but we do have construction drawings.
You do? Okay. Can you send that to Mark so he could distribute to us, and then I could distribute Jen and, yep. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Hey, one thing,
Oh,
one thing
sorry, we
to,
have sorry, question for Cheryl, or from Cheryl.
Yeah, you piqued my interest. I'm not a parent right now, but I do see the walkers and I do see the traffic. But when you said as much construction at night as possible, my house and my daughter's house is right up against that area you're going to be constructing, so it depends on how loud it is. I don't want jackhammers going after 10 o'clock at night. Thank you very much.
Good point.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
a great point. So can we make sure that we limit that noise? I think, Minneola, don't we have a noise ordinance, so we cannot have noise after a certain amount of time? Mark, that's,
We do have noise
we do.
ordinance, yes.
Okay, do we know what time that's at?
It's until 7 at night,
At 7? Okay.
I believe.
So Cheryl, since actually, you have a great point, we're actually the perfect person, since you are the closest house to that construction, from your perception, what do you think is a good cutoff? You mentioned 10 o'clock. Do you think 10 is fine, maybe 9 o'clock, or?
I think if they want an exemption for 9 or 10 p.m., most residents in that area will be happy with that. You can start as early as 5 a.m., because most of the residents, the 3 houses I'm thinking of, they leave by 5:36 in the morning.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look at me, jackhammers instead of chickens. So let's do that, Fred. Let's keep that fluid. Let's see how 9, 10 o'clock works at night. Then Cheryl, if you could provide feedback to us, and you have my information or Mark's, please let us know so that we can adjust as needed. Of course, we don't want to upset the residents. Even though we're doing something good for them, we don't want to create another problem with it. Perfect. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah, one thing, the night work is as needed, right? So we may not even run into that situation, but one thing to keep in mind as we talk about starting a project, now we didn't anticipate the grant coordinators with the delays, right? So we've already awarded the job almost a year ago. So if we prolong this any longer, we may not be able to keep those prices, right? So we need to consider that as well.
No, absolutely. And I think I think we clarified that already. Since we're starting the traffic pattern already with anticipation of the construction, I think we can move forward, as is. I think another good idea is if the night work is as needed, of course, I think we'll know at least a few hours ahead of time. So if
A few days, a week or so, yeah, we can coordinate that.
Perfect,
right,
perfect.
absolutely.
Yes. So Mark, I think once we have those dates that we know we're going to have night work, if we can coordinate with the HOAs in the surrounding areas, that way they can post something, on their notice boards, Facebooks, et cetera. That way the residents have an idea of what's expected. I think that's, Cheryl, do you think that's fair to do? Yep. Jennifer? Yep, that's good. All right, cool. Got a thumbs up, so that's good. All right. Just update my notes. All right, next one, we have the second fire station in the Hills area.
Second fire station, Hills area, we're in the 60% review process. We had a change order that came across the table from the last time we spoke. We processed that change order that's covering grading and design for 10 of the 20 acres there. So we're moving forward with that design as well.
Yeah. We're trying to schedule a meeting. They have a flip book they're creating of kind of a more architectural rendering. They're trying to schedule that meeting. Just as of today, they're trying to schedule it for next Thursday. And we plan on inviting Councilman Saunders to that so he can review what they have so far.
Okay. And this is for the what, I'm sorry, for the facade of the building, or this is for the grading?
It's for the building itself. They have a more detailed design.
All right, the next item, this was for the speed monitoring project. Originally it was Oak Valley Boulevard, but I think we are moving past that. We did receive positive feedback from that initiative. Last note we have is the next neighborhood is under review. And Debbie, I know that you mentioned South Avenue. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I'd also, I don't know if this is a good time, but I did observe another location that I would like to have looked at. This weekend, I observed Lake Shore and Sumter Street. Along that road right there, the speeders are unbelievable. So if we can add that to our list of evaluation.
We can certainly let Lake County
Lake
know
Shore
about
and
that
Sumter.
location. And,
Yes, please. Thank you.
I believe they've been already, there have been a few deputies on there doing speed traps. And I think the problem, if I'm thinking the right area, there's a small area where the speed limit seems, I think it's 45 or 35. And when the cars pass by there, it seems like they're going faster because they have done speed studies in order to determine that. And they've seen the optics is a lot worse than what speeders actually have. I've spoken to a couple of residents in that area. We could certainly review it and go back to it, but I've spoken to a couple of residents, even offered the lieutenant and his team to come out and speak to them as well.
Yeah, I literally sat there for a couple hours watching just speeding.
Okay.
Horrible.
We have places, the other spots we marked with paint, and we want to verify that location, those two locations before we install them. And I've been out and out, but I'll get with you on that.
And they're referring to South Ave, or which areas are you referring to?
To Park Valley.
Oh, in Park Valley, okay. Do we know, or can we come up with, or can you present, Mark, to us better yet, the next neighborhood we want to target in the next meeting, so that we can keep the public aware?
Which
The
part?
next neighborhood that we want to target to put for speed mitigation?
Yeah, I think we were looking to see how the devices worked on Oak Valley Boulevard, and the idea was and we had that traffic studied, and the idea was we would shift that plan over to South Avenue would be our next one.
Okay, so South Avenue will be the next one. Okay, do we know when we'll have enough data from that study in Oak Valley in order to proceed forward?
That study's done.
Okay.
And we were just going to apply some of those measures to South Avenue, and we wanted to kind of get a gauge on how it worked for Oak Valley first. And
So do we
it
get-
seems to be working. So.
Okay. Do we know an estimate as to when we can start on Park Valley then? I'm sorry, on South Ave?
We don't have an estimate yet, but we will get one for you.
Okay. Can we get one for next council meeting?
Sure.
Okay,
We
great.
can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And when will we be starting in Park Valley?
As soon as I get the okay of those, where we painted them, the one that's in the curve, staff would like to move that further up where it's straight. So where the paint is now is where it was discussed.
Right.
But we'd like to move that further north to where it's straight part of the road. And then the other part where the street light is marked as well, just a little bit of white paint on the curb. And
Okay, if we can set up a meeting so that we can have the residents come out as well, since they were out the last time.
Sure.
I'd appreciate that, so we can get them familiar as to what's going on there
okay.
with the changes. Thank you.
And there is one item that we're talking about, roads and streets. I do want to bring up, I did host a town hall yesterday at the Hills, and one of the residents, it was a great event, one of the residents brought up in the Hills, Huntsman Ridge Road and Briar Rose Boulevard. It seems like, and I did drive by that, it's it's a very wonky design of how they did it, and there is a lot of speeding that goes through there without a crosswalk that's pointed, or painted, I should say, on that road. If we could look into that and see if we can put stop signs and stripe that road, I'm sure the Hills residents will really appreciate that.
Huntsman Ridge and
Huntsman Ridge Road and Briar Rose Boulevard.
Briar Road.
And the road that we would like to have, and Chase, keep me honest here, we want to stripe Huntsman Ridge Road, correct? Briar, okay, so we want to stripe and put the stop signs on Briar Rose Boulevard.
Striping, you mean a center line?
Correct, yeah, like a crosswalk? So
Oh,
that-
striping the crosswalk?
Yes,
Okay.
correct, correct.
Sometimes the center line will
Striping.
actually increase speeds.
That's striping,
Yeah, that's, the striping is for the crosswalk.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So if we could evaluate that and try to get that done fairly quickly, I know that the residents up there will greatly appreciate it. Okay, the next item, I know this is county ran, but not sure if you guys have an update for the Hancock widening between Turnpike and 561A?
Yeah,
that-
Junior Davis is on site now, doing discovery, if you will, doing locates and discovery. So there's pretty much started that project, so.
And I was told it'll take between 16 and 18 months to complete. Is that estimate?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the
Not sure.
timeline, but we can look into that. for you.
Okay, yeah, maybe you can get that for us, Fred, that'd be great. And that also includes the signals as well, correct, for the Crooked Can? I think there was 3 signals that were planned, one's already in place.
I know of the one signal at Keystone at Crooked Can there.
And again, from yesterday's town hall, one thing that was brought up to me, I think is a great idea. As you're going into Crooked Can, of course, we all know that's a very popular area. I was there this afternoon because a tree, Mark, I spoke to you about this, a tree fell, and I was trying to help the residents clear it. And I noticed that a lot of speeders are going down Hancock. And one of the items where I think that we could really help, we would have to, of course, involve the counties by putting a temporary signal on that intersection. I think that will create a safer environment for people trying to turn into Crooked Can and people crossing from the hills. So if we can work with the county and try to get a temporary signal there until we have something permanent, I think that'll be great for our residents.
We will make that request.
Thank you. Next item is the wastewater treatment plant.
No changes on that, pretty much status quo. We're in the review process now, working on the GMPs and getting pricing together and getting prepared to go out to bid, so.
Yep. And just to confirm from our last council meeting, ETA for completion, it was Q1, Q2 of '29. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, great. All right, next is the Trailhead Park improvements.
So Trailhead Park improvements, we're moving forward on the ball field. We've demoed the existing pavilion there and doing grading for the pickleball courts at this time. And we're still in holding on the response from the RAI for the stormwater permit. So there's some movement happening, but we're still on schedule so far.
Okay. And then Cheryl, to your point, we will discuss the workshop during my reports. We'll find a date. Okay, next item is the second phase of septic to sewer. I'm assuming that's on hold as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next is the pier on Lake Minneola.
We've been reaching out to the Army Corps of Engineers. We've got permits, approval from St. John's and DEP, and we're just having a little trouble with the Army Corps of Engineers, so we'll continue reaching out until we get that. So that's the only permit we're waiting on. So we should be good to go at that point.
Perfect, thank you.
Any questions, Mayor?
No. That was my question.
Okay. And then the last item on my list is the Citrus Grove project to fix the S-curves. Right now, the last status I have is September 2027 to be completed. I'm assuming that's,
Yeah, project's on schedule, everything's going well.
Great.
So we're on pay app number 3 at this time, but everything's going well, so.
okay, excellent. All right, that's everything on my list. Council, any other questions for Fred?
I'm good.
No, thank you, Fred.
Anyone else? Good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mayor, back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving to Planning and Zoning Commission update. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Sorry, I got to put my eyes on. Okay, so a little update from last night's meeting. As you know, we met last night and completed all the agenda items. We forwarded 3 recommendations for approval to City Council. Item 2 is on the Mavis Tire Conditional Use Permit. The commission, approved the actually it was a 3-1. Conditional use permit. During the discussion, the commission addressed operational questions related to lighting, noise, landscaping, pedestrian connectivity, and environmental enhancements. The applicant agreed to take the commission's recommendations back for review and provide responses before the council hearing, including the discussion regarding the potential noise information to help address possible noise concerns. The commission also confirmed on the record that all vehicle repair work would occur inside the building, none outside. On item 3, the ACE hardware variance, the commission all approved for both variance requests. Decision focused primarily on the revised architectural evaluations, landscaping, and aesthetics. The commission also encouraged the application to evaluate practical bird protection measures around the garden center. Item 4, gentle breeze variance. The commission recommended approval for these both for this variance. During the discussion, the commission emphasized protecting adjacent properties, verifying drainage impacts, and encouraged the applicant to attend the council meeting to answer any additional questions, as they were unfortunately absent at that meeting. We also had item 5, which was a voluntary discussion regarding design checklist. This will be in your agenda next meeting, and Commissioner Nicole Martin will present it. It was really a discussion focused on the concept as a volunteer planning resource. I know she had spoken on final public comments about it, Planning and Zoning Council, and then a workshop. Like I said, she'll bring it and present it, and it's really intent to provide applicants with the design considerations for make it easier on everybody. It was a great suggestion and item. We see also one other recommendation Commissioner Martin brought forward during reports. She shared that the gopher tortoises were already considered endangered, and they have now moved up on the list and are considered critically endangered. She expressed concern about the increasing impact of development on gopher tortoises and habitat in Minneola, and recommended that council explore a volunteer wildlife stewardship initiative focused on education, partnerships, conservation recognition, and possible incentive-based approaches to habitat preservation. The recommendation was intended to complement existing FWC's requirements, not to replace them. So overall, it was a really productive meeting, and all agenda items were completed. Now, I know there's 2 items on tonight. I could give you, if you want, some reminders of what we discussed when it came to Sugarloaf Pod A. Motion and direction included addresses staff's median concerns and the related lot access issue, provide council with traffic study methodology, impact analysis, and traffic consultants' response, provide clarification regarding County Road 561 capacity and the projected level of service at 561 and Hancock Road. This was very important because the traffic study report, if you recall reading it, it was before we needed this widening, adding everything. It was going to be at capacity, and even now reading it now with adding this, it is going to even beyond capacity, even when we do widen the road. So this is something that is something we got to look into about. Preserve mature trees where feasible, increase native landscaping, incorporate ecological stormwater plantings where practical, enhance wildlife connectivity where practical, encourage HOA stewardship and long-term ecological maintenance, consider dark sky compliant lighting, and incorporate pollinator and habitat where feasible as well. Other important discussions on that project were the project is vested for school concurrency, water and wastewater capacity will be evaluated later in the permitting process and cannot be reserved at this stage. The environmental study identified 77 active goater tortoises, burrows, and other inhabitant concerns. An American survey will still be underway. The subdivision is not proposed to be gated and roads will remain public. Let's see, and then there was the Palms at Minneola. Mostly this one, I don't even think I need to read from this, was that this was, I know the townhomes, traffic, there is not a traffic study, and I know Commissioner Martin addressed concerns regarding no other ecological impact reports or anything like that. Inhabitants was not done, and anything that was done was very old. And even though it's not needed to do a traffic study, there is a lot of traffic coming from the charter schools on Pearl and on Education. And so I still would suggest that something needs to be done. So that was one thing that we did bring up a lot on this report before we made our recommendation to move forward. I think that's everything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple questions.
Thank you. I wanted to start this way. Any questions for Ms. Denise Caldron? Ms. Jaeger?
No, good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great job.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, for the Mavis that was discussed yesterday, that was a special use permit, correct?
Yes, because of the auto, it's not an auto repair shop, but it's a tire and use,
Tire,
yes. So.
Right. Now, because of that special use permit, did anybody in the commission and P and Z argue the fact that that's not, that because they're asking for a special use permit, I think the last thing that the residents of Minneola want is another tire store? Was that brought up at all during the commission or challenged?
It was brought up about the 1.5 miles away from the services, so there's another one. Anybody else saying that they don't want another one was not.
And how did that vote go? Was that unanimous, or how did that vote go?
The other reason it was 3-1 was because it was put in about the noise of the, Kevin, when he approached, said that the noise from the tires could be a concern, and a recommendation for noise control of a study. And Commissioner Rose said he was not for just saying the study, but the applicant did ask or said they would look into the noise and other things to keep it down and even during when they work Thursday at 8:30, that they would keep the noise level down. And they have also put it on 27. There's not many neighbors around there, but we were still thinking about them when it came to them.
Right, but just so to confirm, so no one challenged why they should be there? Why they would want to come to Minneola and ask for a variance?
Besides for the questions that we already asked and mentioned, no.
So, no, okay. And did that post unanimous, or how did that vote?
No, that's what I said. It was 3-1, because the
3.
only reason why Commissioner Rose was saying, because of the noise, he didn't think that noise study was
So 3-1 with Commissioner Ken Rose being the only name, correct?
correct.
Okay. And then for the Ace Hardware, for the variance, was it discussed, was part of the variance having items sold outside of Ace?
Well, we had discussed that during, this was just for the variances, the 2 variances that they presented, because the design, we had mentioned we didn't want anything outside. I know Yeager spoke about that too, that that's something Minneola doesn't do. So when we did talk about it, it was reminded that this was, again, we were only talking about the variances, and everything was going to be inside the garden. They didn't really, because we don't really want that, and that will probably be brought up because I know it's not on this agenda, it will be on next one. So when you talk about the design, you can confirm that as well.
So that variance was, sorry.
The variances were on the roof, TPO, and on the garden center, and about the type of, I look at my notes again, sorry.
TPO was one, for sure.
Yeah, TPO was the first one on the
garden
roof,
center
and
keeps
I pull up my notes again.
I believe it was the facade.
Yeah, the facade, that's the word I'm thinking. Yeah. on the facade because of the utility easements that are there where they're putting it up. It was just the way they had to do it. And after he gave us designs, we were able to see the layout, and it was very well done, which is why also Commissioner Martin at the time mentioned the birds. She brought up, I forget which location of some place that birds actually fly in because of that not having screens.
Okay. And again, I'm sorry to go back, because I know there's going to be an item that we'll be discussing in council, so, and maybe it's a question for the attorney. I know that at one point there was, and when I saw one of the meetings, they did ask if they can't sell items outside, like their other Ace Hardwares. Was that discussed? I don't think that was discussed yesterday. That was discussed
No,
2
because
meetings
yesterday was
ago.
just variances. Our July meeting was the design, which hasn't come here because, again, they're postponing it, probably waiting for these variances as well. That we had mentioned then, and again, when Mr. Yeager came up and as public comments and reminded that even when we put the recommendation in, that it not have outside. I know they're probably going to push for it, but we did not. That should be in our recommendation from the July 6th meeting.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And I believe for the.
Motion included no outdoor merchandise display at the primary road facing entrance.
Perfect, thank you. And then the last item for the Palms at Minneola, was that a unanimous vote, 4-0?
It was with our motions, as long as, because like we said, we were stressing the traffic and
That the study was old.
the updated reports. Traffic exemption project, 13 a.m. peak trips, 17 p.m. peak trips between, these were important discussions. Commissions reminded concerns that because the site is close to Minneola Charter School and existing school traffic already backs up to nearby streets. The environmental report was 2022 desktop review, and commissioners questioned why no field assessment had been performed. The public comment included firsthand reports of wildlife in the area and discussed the owner's long reports and fine conservancies of the property. So we did do these discussions. There's some other discussions. I think I'm trying to look at my recommendation, approval conditions. Yeah, they'd rather, instead of tabling the items, that's why we recommended bringing it forward with these conditions, including a complete in-person environmental assessment rather than rely solely on the 2022. Review the traffic study exemption and consider school-related traffic conditions. Add a pollinator-friendly plantings, incorporate ecological storm features. Increase shade canopy, encourage HOA stewardships for long-term landscaping maintenance. Use ecosystem-appropriate and native landscapings through the designs. So that's why we didn't want to postpone it, because this is something the applicant was concerned about as well, because he said that's why they presented this, because it was, didn't really need that much studies, or I don't remember the exact words he had used. And so we said, okay, and so we'll make a recommendation to bring to council instead of postponing further, and those were why we incorporated that.
Okay, so it was 4-0 to move to council. Okay. All right. All right, that's it, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders, anything? Mr. Saunders, anything for Ms. Denise? No? Thank you. It's okay. Thank you. It's all good. All righty. Moving along, anyone in the audience before we go to city manager's consent agenda? Anything regarding what Ms. Calderon said? Okay, so we'll move forward to city manager's consent agenda. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion.
I have a first. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
May I say something about the agenda? One of the items for transparency on the city manager's agenda, item 5, the library services, just so that everybody is aware that the Lake County is giving us $30,000 to assist with funding programs and services at the Minneola Library for the upcoming year. I thought that was fantastic. So,
Yes, I did see that
thanks.
as well. Thank you. Okay, moving along to discussion and action items. Item 6, Preliminary subdivision plat, Sugarloaf Pod A, the prominence at Sugarloaf.
And Mayor, since items 6 and 7 are quasi judicial in nature, I'd like to swear everyone in at this time.
Yes, please, thank you.
If you're going to get up and speak about items 6 or 7, if I can swear everyone in at this time, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Gabby Castro with Inspire on behalf of the
Good
city.
evening.
Oh, yeah, it's good evening. Sorry about the items. I think we did our agenda a little prematurely, but this is to review Sugarloaf Mountain Pod A, PSP, thank you very much, preliminary site plan. So it's located off of County Road 455, north of Sugarloaf Mountain Road, and the project acreage is 317.6 acres. So it's a portion of the Sugarloaf Mountain PUD, pods A1 through 3, and it's originally approved as a DRI in 1994 with a settlement agreement with the Department of Community Affairs in 1996, and the PUD is approved for 2,434 dwelling units, 126,000 of square feet of commercial, and 25 acres of institutional. So the request is for 773 single-family detached dwelling units. With that comes a mix of 45, 55, and 65 lot width sides. And HOA and the CDD will maintain drainage tracks, open spaces, parks, landscape buffers, and retaining walls, and the city to maintain roads, sidewalks, and utilities. As Debbie previously mentioned, the staff's outstanding comment was regarding the medians and boulevards. So as you can see in that image, there are some lots facing some medians. So there are a couple lots that would have to do a U-turn to go the opposite direction. So recommendation was approval to the removal of the medians or reconfiguration of those lots to face the side roads. There's the approval. Debbie mentioned all the suggestions and recommendations to incorporate, and a revised traffic study and methodology is included in your packet. It is the one from November of 2025. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to council before we go to the audience. Any questions or concerns, Mr. Yeager?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Flynn?
No, no.
No.
Mr. Hernandez? Mr. Saunders? Okay. Anyone in the audience? Questions, concerns? Okay. How do you want to do this, Jennifer? You want to do each individual? And are we voting tonight just to make sure? Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to do them both together or
We'll
separate?
need, yes, you'll have to do them separate
Thank you.
for the vote. Yes, please.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve item 6?
Motion?
I have a first. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. If I can I get a roll call on this, please? Starting with Mr. Yeager,
Yes.
Ms. Flynn,
Aye.
Mr. Hernandez?
Nay?
Was that an, okay, never mind. Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-1. Thank you. Moving right along to item 7. Preliminary subdivision plat, The Palms at Minneola. Can I get a motion to approve?
I think it's a
Oh,
separate
I'm sorry.
item.
Go ahead. My apologies. I was on a roll there.
It's a long meeting. I'll keep it short.
It's all good.
So the Palms preliminary subdivision plat for the townhomes. So as previously mentioned, off of Education, Minneola, and Galena, and the total site acreage is 5.84 acres. The proposal is for 35 townhomes and associated site infrastructure with an associated 1.72 open space acre, 1.72 acres of open space. So this is the product elevation for the 3 adjacent units and 4 adjacent units. And There were no outstanding comments from staff, and the recommendation was for approval. The applicant has provided us with an updated ecological study with a field assessment. That ecological study was provided to staff. Don't think it was included in your packet, but if you would like it, we can provide that for you. And there was nothing found on the site, but a gopher tortoise survey will be still required before construction. And Denise provided the P&Z recommendation for approval and all the outstanding items. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Gabby? Mr. Yeager?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Flynn? Mr. Hernandez?
No, thank you.
Mr. Saunders?
Nope.
Okay.
Aaron Blake, 290 Citrus Tower Boulevard.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. Just wanted to say a couple words, and then I also have our engineer here if you have any other questions. This applicant previously tried twice to get this rezoned to do other things and spent like 6 figures doing it. Nobody wanted it. They came to me and asked my advice after that. And I said, my advice is just do what the zoning is. Don't come in asking for variances and rocking the boat. It already has a decent zoning on it. Just go with it. So they took that advice, and that's what they have in front of you was just a regular, no zoning changes, no conditional uses, no exceptions. We went to the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I spoke and let them know that as well. And I got to say, I was very happy with the way the Planning and Zoning went. It was one of the few times I've stood up for something that could potentially be controversial, and I felt like everybody heard each other. So I would like to say that from my perspective, using the system many times, it was an enjoyable experience, and I listened closely to the 2 comments that they did have, and I came with my homework. I have copies for each of you. They talked about the traffic, and they talked about the ecological. For the traffic, I think they were only given the cover page of the exemption letter, but there was actually a lot more pages, and I got my hands on that. I'll give you a copy of that as well. And
Thank you.
There was an exemption letter from Kimley Horn, and then there was a version of a traffic study done by MAPS. And they looked at all the intersections, and they have, the visuals of left turns, right turns. They did all of that stuff. They just had the final result was the first page, which was very low traffic counts. And the reason why is we're not trying to increase the density or the intensity. So that's why that was issued, and I feel that was appropriate. So we didn't do any further action on that one, but we did make copies of it, which I'll provide to you. And then when it came to the ecological, I'm a bit of an environmentalist at heart, which is kind of weird because I'm also a developer. So when I heard some of the people say they were concerned that the study was too old and that they raised concerns that nobody had actually walked on the property, so I immediately, when I left the meeting before I even got home, called Clark Modica. Fantastic working with Modica and Associates, by the way, highly recommend. And he dropped what he was doing, brought his team out. They walked the property. I've got a copy of that report. And you'll see pictures with his hands in the dirt. And I said, you better scour that thing and find out if there's anything we need to do. The only thing he told me on the phone, and it's in here as well, is that there was 2 potential holes that could either be a gopher tortoise or I'm going to say the wrong name, so I'll just say owl. Don't know which one. But in the report, it notes that what you have to do, as she mentioned as well, is when you're a certain number of days before construction, that's when you go out there and do the 100% survey for those 2 items. We can't do it any farther in advance. So at this point in time, we feel that we've done everything we can and tried to be as accommodative to the requests made. And I've got a copy of each of those for you. The ecological's on the top, and then the traffic studies are on the bottom as well.
Thank you.
There's here if you need any.
Thank you, sir.
Question for you.
Mr. Yeager, any questions you may have?
Question, please. So years and years ago, that was an airfield
Thank you.
with the house on it. That piece of land, is that the airfield part or the house part?
That would be the house part, which I believe burned down a while ago.
So did you do a phase 1 for any
Oh, yeah.
contamination or?
Oh, yeah. And they did a partial phase 2 and found nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything, Ms. Flynn?
No, thank you for your comments about working with our planning and zoning. That was refreshing. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
No, thank you.
Mr. Saunders?
Nope.
And I wanted to say thank you for this, because that was two of the things that were brought up, and I will definitely be looking into it, but thank you for bringing it forward. Anyone in the audience?
(1808) Cary Street, Cheryl Pavlaka. I want to compliment the gentleman that was just up here. Based on his demeanor and such, he did a very good job. And I'm glad he addressed those gopher holes, because I was going to bring it up during public comments, but I think it's appropriate here. I believe the city council does a great job at looking at ecological things when the developers are coming in. But what do we have and how can we enforce with HOAs? In fact, I was going to ask Jennifer if she could take it back to our HOA. When you find gopher tortoises, because we had one a year and a half ago in our retention pond. Fortunately, my granddaughter knew what it was, and my husband called Florida Wildlife out, and they actually tagged it. They like to track those gopher tortoises. So I don't know if the city council wants to consider doing something in any ordinance, or what would be the right thing to do, but once it's not city property or the developer's not looking for permits for the city, what do we do to protect those gopher tortoises
Absolutely.
On the property? Thank
I
you.
agree, thank you. If we can look into that, Mark, please.
Sure.
I would appreciate that. Anyone else?
Jennifer Morse, 1064 Golden Dawn Loop. I also would like to thank the developer and whoever designed the townhome area, that they stayed within the variance of 4 townhomes. So that was like nice to see. And that, as if I looked at the map, not the survey, but the design correctly, there isn't a education exit, right? They have to go around. Is that correct? Yeah, so it's not right on to education. I do love a good visual, thank you. Okay, all right, perfect. My only other question, just because I'm curious, is the other land is zoned institutional, I believe, Mark, and is that owned by us, or is that owned by Minneola Charter?
Charter school.
And could they ever rezone it to allow for more, they could request to allow for more houses?
They could request it, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? I'll bring it back to council. Can I get a motion to approve item 7?
Motion.
I have a first. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Thank you. And item 8 is going to be tabled to August 18th's meeting. Thank you. Final public comments? Anyone in the audience? I'm sorry? No, that's been tabled for August 18th. Thank you.
Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. I just wanted to ask, I wasn't aware, and maybe we do allow, but I wouldn't have asked except the city attorney brought it up when she said to make sure when Representative Yarkowski was here that we didn't ask any questions that would imply an endorsement, which you guys didn't ask any questions, so that didn't apply. But the handout he gave us is all about political announcements except for the first page. It's his flyer I got in the mail, it's this, and I wasn't aware that city council allows political candidates to pass it out during the meeting. I could see if he wanted to do it out in the hallway or in back, but I just not sure that that was appropriate. And I'm not saying that I endorse or don't endorse Representative Yarkowski. I've been pushing him hard on the property taxes, so I just wanted to air my voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Denise Calderon. I'm back on P and Z because just what Cheryl had mentioned about the tortoises, that's why Commissioner Martin brought up that recommendation last night so that we could do more stewardship and learn more things about that. So I'm sure it will be brought up as another discussion item on P and Z next, what month are we, September? So just so that we can bring forward more information and help our residents get more information as well.
Thank you. And I will concur with that. I did speak to Ms. Nicole Martin and Ms. Nicole Marie, excuse me. We are going to try and bring something back. I know that was a request by her, and I believe she's getting together with Ms. Christine here. I'm not quite for certain. I hear stuff.
Right.
So from there on out, if it does come forward, of course, it'll be on the agenda.
Right.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello.
Good
My name's
evening.
Monica Luna, 804 Thistle Avenue, Minneola. I just wanted to thank the city and the city employees for, in front of our house, nearby our house, we had a sidewalk which had a step, and a few of your city employees came out and they smoothed out the steps, so now someone in a wheelchair can easily go on the sidewalk. So I appreciate that. I think that was, I don't know who was behind that, but that was thoughtful and that was a good idea. I also wanted to request, if I have your permission, if we can talk about urban backyard chickens, if that could be put on the agenda again, whether that's planning and zoning or here at City Council. I also wanted to remind you, the city of Winter Garden, since 2018, has legalized urban backyard chickens, and they have a higher population density than our city. And the city of Claremont, since 2025, so last year around February, they legalized chickens as well, and they also have a higher population density. I have not heard of any issues arising from these two cities legalizing chickens, and I just wanted to request that it be put back on either plan and zoning or city council's agenda.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? And Mark, if we could.
Maybe she has something else.
Yes, did you have something
I
else?
just wanted to know if you guys were going to make a decision on that tonight, or how I would find out whether.
That is something that
Okay.
I myself or council can speak at the next meeting. I don't know if you want to bring it back to planning and zoning, because that's usually the first step that we do, is we take it to planning and zoning, and then from there it goes to council. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay,
We can make it a discussion item for P and Z if you'd like.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Juan Camacho, 753 Rioja Drive in Minneola. I just wanted to commend the City Council for affirming civility in our local government and in our operations. It should be going without saying, but to the extent that we have to reaffirm and remind ourselves about why we're here. Leaders aren't beyond having to say we're sorry and having to say that we're wrong. So reaffirming civility is important. But besides that, I did have a question in regards to the presentation that was brought on by the representative. In question with HJR 1F, is there any specific plan that the city has in the event that this ballot question is approved by 60% of the city's voters? That'd be my first question. And then before that, would there be any adverse effect for city operations in the event that this amendment is approved? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Yeager, will you like to address his questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Flynn?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that if this was to pass, Minneola is in a position where we will not be affected, or the residents, I should say, will not be affected on the day-to-day services because of how well we've been keeping it in our budget. Is that correct?
It's our belief at this point in time, with the information we have available today, that's correct.
And so much so that, I believe I asked in the last council meeting for us to, or for the city to present to council with a lower millage rate than what we had last year. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that's to say that even if this passes, this will not be affected our day-to-day or any other of the projects that we're currently doing.
Based on what we know today, that's correct.
Okay, great. I don't know if that answered your question, Juan, or not, but thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Nothing.
No? Okay. Anyone else in the audience? Closing final public comments?
Did we do reports
Moving
already?
along to reports.
I thought we did reports already.
Well, that's what we did reports for, oh, I apologize. City manager, thank you.
Okay.
It's still there.
I need
didn't cross it
to,
out.
on or before Friday, I need to get with Councilman Hernandez on the shade structure choice.
I'm
for
sorry, what was
Trailhead.
that again?
Before this Friday, I need to get with Councilman Hernandez on the shade structure for
Oh,
Trailhead
okay,
Park.
thank you, thank you.
So far, we received about $41,000 in sponsorship money for the Centennial. That's great. Staff's doing a great job of beating the bushes and working on that. The Centennial Movie Night is this coming Saturday? Next Saturday, August 15th at the Minneola Athletic Complex. Not at Trailhead, at the MAC. They're playing National Treasure is the movie. That was fitting for our 250th and our 100th. Staff made a good choice. And then the Minneola Market is August 26th. At some point, we'll do a warm handoff with the Crooked Can Brewery for their farmers market, but for now, we're anticipating having ours here August 26th. Also, we need to schedule a date for the cemetery workshop. If y'all have a date in mind that everyone can attend to go over revising the rules and looking at what Inspire has done so far on that site plan, and just sort of having a general discussion on the cemetery.
So I also think we need to add, Mark, since we already finished reports, the workshop for the second workshop for the parks as well. So I think we have 2 workshops that we have to find dates
Yes.
for.
I don't know if you want to have those on separate nights, you want to try to combine them. Some cities lump their cemeteries in with the parks operation, believe it or not. They do at times,
That's
believe it or
depressing.
not, because of all the green space. And, that's something, if y'all want to have those on the same night, if you want to have separate nights, either's fine.
I mean, I would say let's at least shoot for the same night
Okay.
for both of them. And then if we feel that we need to go a bit further, then do another workshop on top of that one.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Anyone else?
I'm actually going to go the other way. I think
Oh,
that each item deserves its own night. I don't want to have, because we know, we've done workshops, right? We go
Sure.
through one item, then the second one feels rushed because everybody wants to leave, so I think we need to dictate, or to give each one its own proper
And
night.
since you are doing the parks one, you would know how long that would be taking, so I will
Yes.
take that into consideration. And there you go. Anything else? Joe, any?
No.
No? So there you have it. Mr. Yeager, any?
Mark, I saw the doorman at the firehouse working on the doors again. I was
Okay.
out there and they were working on the doors for some reason, but,
I wasn't aware of that, but I will find out.
yes, sir. The other thing is we still have an issue in Del Webb as far as water pressure. And again, I don't know if it can be fixed, but obviously they're starting phase 6. The other issue is when they do the COs, I had discussion before, when they do the COs, there are cracked concrete in front of the house and everything. The last thing, it should be put on the burden of the residents that they have to do that after it gets turned over to them. So why can't, when we do a CO to make sure everything is perfect, Sean Parks does it in Mount Bird at the Willow subdivision. They walk through and every piece that is cracked is satisfied, and that is a gated community, just like Del Webb, just.
I know the public works staff, they will reconfirm that's a focus of theirs, but I know years ago they started doing those on sidewalks, especially to make sure that they're not cracked, broken, and they require the builders to replace them if they find them before they're CO'd.
I mean, there's quite a lot there right now.
Okay.
That are pre-done. There's over 400 homes, 450 at this moment.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be the burden of the homeowners when they take it over.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Ms. Flynn, anything for our city manager?
No, thank you.
No? Mr. Hernandez, anything for our city manager?
Do we have an update on that tree that fell, Mark, in front of the exit on the Crooked Can? Do we know if it was?
Yes, we did have staff come out, one of the on-call staff that came out to go out and look at it. We also advised Lake County, but our staff made it before they did.
Okay.
But owners of the or representatives of Crooked Can were removing it when our staff got there.
Okay, all right.
I think it was a landscaping tree.
Yes, it was a landscaping tree, and 8 of my straps broke trying to move it, so.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for getting on top of it.
Mr. Saunders, anything for the city manager?
Nope. Mayor, can I add something real quick?
Sure.
The Crooked Can, just so you know, they're generating so much trash, they're going to have to come back and get a compactor and redesign the area because they can't handle all the trash. So it's been incredible, thank God. But they only have 5 of the 10 open, and so they're going to have to come back and do some configuration for a compactor so actually they can keep up with the trash. Thank you.
So, Mark, if we can, did you want to discuss those 2 dates now? So we can
If
get.
it's the pleasure of the council, sure.
Yes, please. First, well, let's first get to, which would you recommend first, parks or cemetery?
It's up to the
What
council.
do you want to do? Of
you know,
course.
come on.
Okay, yeah, well, why would I even ask? So as far as the parks,
Are you asking me?
I'm asking all of council. What looks good? We've got August 11th,
Whatever your pleasure is.
August, thank you, the 25th.
August 25th would be my vote.
Me too.
Mr. Saunders, August 25th, good for a workshop?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So if we can do August 25th, workshop,
And that'll be for the parks, correct?
yes, ma'am.
And then for cemetery, we want to do September 8th.
For the September 8th. Anybody else? September 8th for the cemetery? Sounds good?
All right. So Cheryl, Chase, August 25th.
Okay, so we'll do September 8th,
September 8th for cemetery.
workshop for the cemetery. All right. Thank you. I had to
Mark,
put
if
that
you can
in.
just send reminders to all of us for those
Yes.
workshops on your calendar,
Absolutely.
that'd be great.
For sure.
Yeah.
Invites, I think, work best for our emails.
Will do.
Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Scott's not here. Ms. Jennifer, thank you for being here this evening.
Of course. I do actually have a brief update on the proposed property tax constitutional amendment. Late last night, the Leon County Circuit Court judge ruled that the ballot title in the summary are misleading and legally defective. So the court has prohibited the current language from being placed on the November ballot and directed the Attorney General to prepare revised language within the next 10 days. The proposed amendment itself has not been removed from the ballot, and the state has the opportunity to appeal. So, but I just wanted to give you that update.
If the state appeals, will it still be on the ballot as is, or will it not be? Out of curiosity.
If they appeal it, it should also be on the November ballot. Their appeal would to keep the language that they have proposed that has been now deemed illegal by a judge. And so even now, the measure will be on the ballot. It's just that
The
they
title
are
will
looking
change, right.
to make the summary and the title less misleading.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything for the city attorney? Okay. Moving right along, Mr. Yeager?
No, report's already done.
Excuse me?
Reports are already completed. Remember we did
Oh,
it again.
thank you. I really, yeah,
So
well,
cross it out.
I know. All right. Well, okay then. Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Okay.
Nope.
You were doing reports and I was going to start, but you kept on going. Want to do that again?
But we did the reports before, but, okay.
Just so the revelations of this evening, it's interesting, but I'll wait until August 17th to plead my case. And just so you know, when qualifying comes, I will run for seat 1. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Anyone else? We good? Perfect. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second?
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.